Alright, so now the S&P looks like it wants to continue higher. We have this window open here and another window open down here. But it continues to push higher as if it does not want to stop there and that it wants to retest this previous high. Now we didn't get a whole lot of volume coming in on the S&P either. In fact, the volume looks like it's continued to fall off as it moved to higher. So I suspect we're going to run into some trouble here and maybe pull back and retest this support area at some point. And then we also have these windows open below, so we may come back, retest the support area. If it doesn't hold, then I'm expecting us to sell off and come back down into here on S&P to run into some trouble up in here, pull back to retest this area here for some support. If that doesn't hold, then we're coming back down to about 6,300. If that doesn't hold, then most likely we're going to come down and shut these windows. At some point, we need to reconcile these windows. So I don't think that it may continue higher, but I suspect that at some point we're going to get a sell-off in the S&P. Looking at Bitcoin, Bitcoin is already starting to show some weakness. As you can see here, we got a nice push up last week, but then we had a nice big red bar wiping it all off, wiping it all out. Before anybody get a chance to jump in there and join them, because this is happening right now and it's Sunday. And so if you're not already in this short, then you're going to have to play catch up. Now if it gets back down into here, then you're going to have to look for some support. So I would definitely wait till it gets down here somewhere or continue to head lower before trying to jump in on this this short that's coming back in here, or this sell that's coming in. And who knows, maybe come Monday morning we might get a little push up and then you can jump in on that sell. But definitely showing some weakness in Bitcoin heading into Monday's trading. Next up is going to be oil. And oil, okay, it's trying to retest against the 20, pushing up in here. As you can see, we have some resistance in here with the 20, and it's trying to push up through that. We had a nice little push up, pull back, and a close higher or lower high, but we haven't got the higher high yet for oil. But we do have a higher low on oil, so keep an eye on that. See if we can push up through here. But as you can see, we got this overhead resistance coming through from the 200. So we'll see how that plays out. The 150 also is acting as a resistance area as well. So we'll see if oil can push up through and get higher, or if it's going to continue to get rejected and push back down. But currently it's trying to make a higher low, so we'll see what happens with that. Next up is going to be the Ethereum and Ethereum, Bitcoin and Ethereum moving in tandem again, so keep an eye on that. And we got gold. Gold's trying to push up higher to retest, put in this nice little J-hook pattern here, and we're going to see if it wants to continue to head higher and retest that 4,396 area on gold. Next up is the natural gas. Natural gas continues to push higher, and as natural gas seems to be flying higher, oil seems to be trying to follow it. So we'll see if oil does continue to follow it. Now we got this huge window open on natural gas, so gonna have to kind of expect that's gonna get reconciled at some point. We got the NASDAQ, and the NASDAQ is trying to push up a little higher. Trying to get some support from the 20-day and this previous high turn support. All right. So we'll see what happens if we continue to maintain this support in this area here, or if we're going to sell off. With this push up and this slight little pullback, It kind of looks kind of normal as like a normal pullback currently. Um, so I would kind of suspect that we're going to get some support in this area and then push higher, much like in the S&P. All right, the S&P. All right, pushing higher. All right, for the most part, that move kind of looks the same. So I think we're going to continue to push higher with the Nasdaq. Okay, and find some support in here and go higher to retest that 26,000 area on the Nasdaq. Next up is silver, and silver continues to run. Put in this nice little J-hook pattern here on silver. All right, so when it starts to give out, it's going to come back, put a nice little check mark, and then maybe go higher. Okay, or maybe come back and retest this support area. All right, which was resistance at one point, and now it's going to be some support. So it may come back, check in for some support before heading higher. Next up is going to be the Dow, and the Dow is kind of slowing down a little bit. As you can see, the volume was coming in big time, and then all of a sudden it starts to sell off, and we're starting to lose volume on the Dow. Now it's putting in this red bar Sunday in the after hours, or the hours on which we can't trade it, and it's starting to sell off a little bit. And if we go down to the 2-minute chart, you can see that we're putting in a newer low, but that's on the 2-minute chart. Okay. All right. So when we go back out to the 3 months in a day, we can see the Dow's putting a little bit of sell, but I don't suspect it's going to come all the way back down into here. I think we're going to come back, maybe retest this halfway point, um, and then go back and retest the highs, much like the S&P and the Nasdaq. I want to say manipulation, but whatever. It's freaking corn. So anyhow, then we got Apple, and Apple is running into some trouble. It tried to push higher here, but see on the 2-minute chart, and we'll see how this looks come Monday morning when we open up. We kind of opened up below our 277.65 area. We currently are sitting below 277.65, so we lost $2 off of our move that we moved up here on this $4 move. We lost $2 of that, but we haven't taken out that low of 275.99 yet in the pre-market. So a lot of this we're going to have to wait and see what happens come Monday, but we do know that the overall markets are looking bullish, and so there's no reason why the rest of the market shouldn't. So I would, Apple has this window open as well, so just be cautious with Apple as you're trading it. If you're trading it, if it's a long termer, then it doesn't really matter. I would just probably wait and see if it's going to come back and get below this $251 area to shut that window, because it in the past it has. If you see here, we had this window open here, and it came back and closed it before going higher. Had this window open here, came back and closed it before going higher. So now we got this window here, and this window opened up. So buyers came in and popped it up again. So we know buyers are sitting in here waiting. So I suspect at 248 we're going to come back at some point and shut this window here at 253 before heading higher. Okay, so remember that with Apple, it has this window that needs to be closed before it's going to want to go higher. and we know it likes to shut those windows before moving on, as it has done it here in the past. Okay, window shut, window shut, window shut. Window still open, so we need to come back and close this window before we can go higher in Apple. AMD. AMD has this huge window down here that hasn't been shut yet. Alright. So we need to come down to about $170 on AMD in order to close this window. And then there's this window. Is this one window here? Let's see. High of 147.58. Low of 149. So this one has a window open down here too that hasn't been reconciled. Low of 149. Low of 149. High of 147. So AMD has a window open way down here at 148 that needs to be shut. So we have to be careful with AMD as well. It may need to come back and shut that window before going higher, or sometimes I've seen them do like a split or something like that in order to reconcile those areas where they gapped up or gapped down in order to fill those gaps. But I don't see anything in the news stating that AMD is intending to do any type of splits. So the only thing I suspect is continue to sell off until it comes down and close those windows, and we'll buy it right back up. And it may take a little while because we got these moving averages that are coming down in order to give it that extra incentive to sell. But currently in the pre-market, I know we closed at about 217.53, but if you look at the 2-minute chart here on Sunday, you can see we sold off quite a bit, dropped $5 in the pre-market, and may drop more come tomorrow morning. Or it may be up. We'll see how they play it, because you can see that we should have been continuing to sell off here, but they pushed up, sold off, pushed up, and then now it looks like we're trying to sell off again. So we'll sold off. And Tesla will be our last one we'll look at, and we'll take a look at Tesla. And if we look at the Tesla had this nice sell-off and got a little bit of a bounce, put in this little bit of a W or whatever you want to call it, and I tried to push up and got about 50%, and then closed on Friday at around 432 or so, 430. I'm sorry, $430.17. But now we look at the trading today on Sunday. 2-minute chart, you can see it dropped down to about 423. So we'll see where it opens up at come Monday morning, if we're going to be down around $423 or lower, or we might be even higher. But we'll see what happens, how that plays out. But it gave up like what, $9? Gave up $9. Well, it closed 4:30, so it gave up $7 in the after hours, or in the hours where we couldn't trade it. So hopefully, if you were holding Tesla, you're holding it long term, and you weren't stuck in the trade trying to play it to the upside, or you didn't get in late playing it to the upside on Friday. Because it looks like you're in for some pain come Monday morning. Alright, that's all I got for today. Thanks for stopping by. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And as always, be careful out there. These markets are crazy.